police officer is probably
one.
I can't think of
very
a
stressful.
harder job than police officer.
Try being a critical care nurse.
Well,
Well,
okay.
there's a different
Well,
thing.
It's
I don't
probably
know.
stressful, but-
I'm not saying critical care nurse is not stressful. I'm
you're not
saying
putting
police
yourself in-
officers.
Yeah,
police
you
officers.
are. You have
Well-
psych patients that are like
I mean,
off.
So
yeah,
okay, but
It
police
depends
officers-
on how much
No,
you
it's
want
not
to
the
shoot
same. Not at
people
all.
and you
No,
want to
no.
sedate
Police
people.
officers
It just
literally deal
depends.
with the bottom of society every single day. They
Yeah.
are in their car sitting there. Every interaction they have was probably with somebody that's like,
Could have weapons
yeah,
on them, whatever.
they,
And
like
I know
bottom of society.
psych patients are
It's like
dangerous, but they're
the
usually
most
not-
stressful job in the world.
Psych patients are very easily sedated. You give them a
Well,
shot
like,
in
it's
their
usually in the
butt.
context of being
It's
in a
how
hospital.
Okay.
When
Who
you-
else is a
hold
nurse
on.
here?
But-
It's how
Yeah.
it's,
Well, we're
ha-
not-
it's
Wait,
a little bit of Haldol, a little bit of Benadryl, a little bit of Ativan.
Stop.
Yeah.
All right, so just to be clear, are you saying that your job is like as stressful as a police officer?
It's comparable.
comparable.
Yeah.
Well, so you're saying that in the psych, what was it? The psych unit?
No, in
What's it called?
the ER or in the critical care unit, you're dealing with lower level society, homeless people, drug
Sure.
addicts. They have
But
shanks, they have needles, dirty
How did
needles.
I mean, perhaps they made contact with police officers first.
Yeah.
Maybe,
So-
or they
well,
walked
and
in.
The police officer is like, in their eyes, the enemy. They're the ones who have to grab them, be like, hey, we are taking you. You guys, like, okay, they're going to be there, but hey, we're going to help you.
No,
So-
no, that's not how it
No,
goes
but
down.
your job is-
People are
Your jo-
hallucinating.
Yeah.
People are
Yeah, I know.
violent.
I understand.
I've
but,
had
like,
police
there's-
officers that sit outside of the room while they let us handle the patient.
But the thing is, that's not the only type of patient you deal with as a critical care nurse. So you're talking about like
the vast majority.
Let me, have you ever? I'm sure it's happens, but it's probably far more rare. In the critical care unit, how frequently are you having to like dispatch the people that are freaking out? Like, have you ever has anyone ever have to like shoot and kill a patient?
Shoot and kill a patient.
grab them by their arms
hospital
and,
is.
you know,
You think they have,
yeah,
like,
we-
guns?
we-
They
we
have
don't-
like they have chemical restraints.
I'm
They have physical
making
restraints.
an argument here to point out
So-
that as a nurse, there's
We don't have
perhaps
to
you might
shoot. We do have to restrain people with leather restraints.
But it's
or
usually
points.
with a group of other nurses.
Have you ever had
and
to
staff.
shoot?
police officers have to encounter people who are armed and have intention to kill them.
Yeah, and it's
The nurses
usually
don't
when
have
they're
the option.
one-on-one
No.
or like
Yeah.
two, maybe
Nurses
two
don't have
together.
weapons, and the
They don't have
majority of
yeah.
nurses are female. So
you-
for
okay,
us
do
to
you
have
think-
men in
But
the
it's-
industry is
Do you
really
think, okay,
huge.
who's more likely to encounter like some lethal force scenario,
Yeah.
a nurse or a police officer?
A police officer, obviously, because
Okay.
they're out in the
Yeah.
streets.
The
I'm
nurse
saying
is
it's
more
comparable.
stressful
You guys
job.
are turning it into
It's-
like this,
No,
like,
it's
you know,
yours
war.
is dangerous. It is
Let's
It's
not-
dangerous.
still dangerous. Let's
And
not
it's-
minimize
No,
it.
no,
No.
no,
Hold
minimize.
on, Let's not
hold on.
minimize the risks that police officers
Absolutely,
take.
and I
But
wasn't
the way that-
minimizing.
The way this
It's not
conversation went
comparable.
down
It's
is
not comparable.
we were talking about police officers right
dangerous
here.
it is.
I said, yeah, that police officer, I can't think of a harder,
Can you close that, Nick?
more stressful job. And then a comment was made by you, try being a critical care
Yes,
nurse.
Yeah.
which is
And I was like,
essentially
okay,
says-
yeah, I'm not saying it's not a stressful job. I'm
Dangerous,
just,
not just stressful.
But you
Sure,
said like
it-
try
sure.
being
both,
a critical care
both.
nurse.
It's like,
as
why
if-
are we
as
having
if
this
it's
argument though?
as
That's the
or
thing.
more dangerous
Like,
I
than
made
a
a comment.
I know,
You guys
I know.
went
So-
ham on it,
No,
but that's fine.
Listen,
No, no,
I
no,
respect
no.
your
That's like
job.
he's
and-
saying.
Nobody's been in my shoes and had to deal with like people in
I can tell
Portland
you
where
right
illicit
now-
drugs are literally
No, I can
legal.
look. I can
and
look
people
at.
walk
I can
in
look
the
at
ED.
statistics for police officers. Self-deletion. Police officers have the highest rate. There are all of the negative side effects of having a job. Police officers will tend to have the most negative effects.
Yes,
So
and-
I can look at statistics, not anecdotal evidence.
You
Not
can look at
hey,
statistics
in
for
my
everything.
my experience as a critical care nurse, it's really difficult. And I'm not saying it's not.
Have
I'm
you
just
ever
saying,
looked at statistics for
Can I
critical
say-
care
can I
nurses?
just say
Oh
something?
my gosh!
no,
I'm
no,
just
no,
saying
Okay.
police
Hold on.
officers lead it.
Don't call it anecdotal when there's
It is
actually
anecdotal.
Okay, look,
it's
we're not-
research.
we're not
too.
deni- we are
Gosh.
we are not
We're not
denying
saying that it's not hard. It's not a. I'm not saying it's oh, it's an easy job.
just not the
I'm
same
just
as
saying,
being a police
officer is harder.
I
It
didn't
is
claim
more stressful. It is more
I did
dangerous.
not claim that it's the same.
said
I
it's
said it was
But it's the way that
comparable.
you
It is
said it.
comparable because it is. Unless you've been a nurse and you've worked in the
No, but
ER
can
or in the
why
critical
is
I
care
it
please say
unit.
something to that? I have been in a
Because you're trying to
psych-
shut me down, so we're having a disagreement and a
Listen,
dialogue. That's what
I-
happens in a disagreement.
I can
Two
say
people have
something
different
What are you
as someone who's
disagreeing
been
on?
there.
I'm disagreeing on the fact that you're minimizing and saying it's a stressful job. Yeah, sure, but it's not necessarily dangerous.
It is dangerous.
I
We're
didn't
saying
say
that,
it's
but
not
it's just not as
dangerous.
dangerous as being a police
Okay.
officer. I've been in a psych ward. I've been an alcoholic. I've been in homeless shelters. I've been in recovery. I've seen the mental crises, and I'm telling
Hold
you
on.
right now, it is
Let me
not
just-
the same.
Let me define
Yeah.
comparable or comparable of equivalent quality worthy of comparison. So it's not clear to me that being a critical care nurse is of equivalent risk or danger as being a police officer.
And that
I didn't
doesn't
say
mean it's
equivalent.
not
I used the word
dangerous.
comparable, comparable.
Comparable, yes,
But
but I
that's-
just
Yeah.
gave you the
That's
definition.
the same. You're saying it's like essentially an equivalent, and
It's absolutely not.
and it's not, and it's not, and it's not saying that your job isn't dangerous.
Right.
It's not saying that you don't take risks in your job, but you are at less risk than a police officer who usually you are in a hospital setting most of the time, or in a clinical setting with many nurses, many doctors around, people who can help you and come to your aid and your rescue. I know I work in a healthcare situation. I totally understand that, but I'm saying that I've seen the violent patients. I've heard the codes called, but I'm telling you, it happens less frequently, and also not to the degree that police officers get. And I'll tell you, I used to hate police officers when I was a far left person, but I'm telling you, their job is one of the most dangerous jobs, and it's not to minimize you, but it's not
I
the
didn't
same.
even, it's not even about me. It's about in general.
But you
So
said the
an
clinical
ER nurse
care
or a critical
nurse.
care nurse that works in the south side of Chicago, for example, versus a
Not
police
as-
officer that works in Beverly Hills
Well,
or somewhere
that's not
else.
a fair comparison.
Like, do you
Yeah.
get what I'm
about-
saying? There's like
now,
different
hold on.
statistics. Like we're talking about
Okay.
different variables, right?
How about we
like,
compare?
It can be comparable.
Let's compare a critical care nurse in the south side of Chicago to a police officer in the south
Yeah,
side of
that's-
Chicago.
Right.
Well, I've
and
seen
I'm
them,
not
they don't do
negating
much.
that.
I-
I made a simple comment that it's
But
comparable.
yes, we realize
So.
nursing, it's stressful, it's difficult. You're dealing with, like, you can be dealing with violent patients. We totally get it. It's not comparable
It's not.
to a police officer. It's just
I filed a couple police reports in the south side of Chicago.
Oh my
I'll
God,
tell you
this-
one
We believe
thing.
that.
Nothing was done. I'm telling you, they're not doing
That's-
too much
thank you
down
for
Well, I'd
there.
love to
read those
I am just
reports.
saying, as somebody who's filed at least 3 of them.
nobody cares.
And this
in
has
Chicago.
nothing
No,
to do
nobody,
with what
nobody
we're
cares.
talking
So then,
about.
Nobody
so then,
Oh
how
my
do you
God,
how are you going to
who
say that you
the
know
hell
what a police officer in the south side of Chicago goes through or what they're doing?
I don't think you're having the same conversation as
Yeah,
any of
this is
us
totally
at any
irrelevant.
point in this entire evening. Nothing
It's a
you
total
have
non
said
sequitur.
I don't think so.
It's a total non
You are
sequitur.
having a
Hold on, stop.
conversation to yourself.
I'm gonna
I
move
think
on.
it's got plenty
Stop.
to do with what
Okay,
we're
let's
saying.
move on.
We're gonna. Did you answer the question? Or no? Really quick, coming back to you. No, I know, but
Nably donated $200. Nick, we Latinos on the chat had a vote. Please set up the mic number 4 to drunk Latina mode. If that doesn't work, have Gus shove the pointy side of his German hat down her vocal cords. Afuera.